Carolina gets the dub out in paradise, baby. Let's talk about it.
You don't want none! You don't want none!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ, the Tar Heel. And in this huddle, baby, we're going to talk about the North Carolina Tar Heels 87-69 win on the other side of the world against the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors 87-69, man. It wasn't necessarily the prettiest basketball game at times, but Carolina gets a good W 4,800 miles away from their house. And obviously that's a great game to have just to get accustomed to the time, as they begin the Maui Invitational coming up here with an 11:30 tip against Dayton in a couple of days. So I want to give a huge shout out, man, to like the 30 plus just absolute Tar Heel huddle diehards, man, that came and hung out with their boy, to watch the Heels invade Honolulu, man. We had a good time, bro. Really good time, and really enjoyed just about as much as you can a game after midnight, staying up late with the stinking boys. And there's a lot of interesting things to talk about in this game, man. First and foremost, man, the team stats. Let me get there myself. The team stats. Carolina shot 51.9% from the floor, 33.3% from three, and Hawaii shot 38.6% from the floor, 34.8% from three. But here was one of the big things. And Carolina ended up getting, obviously, an 18-point victory. But they got out-rebounded for the first time this year. They were minus 13 on the glass. Minus 13 on the glass. So Carolina did not do a very good job of finding bodies, boxing out, and it allowed Hawaii to stay in the basketball game, man, to be completely honest with you. Now, interestingly enough, Carolina did have more points in the paint, 44-26, and they made good on that. What they were able to really capitalize on is the fact that Carolina had 8 steals to Hawaii's 1 and only 5 turnovers, and Hawaii had 13. And the points off of those turnovers were 17. So, Carolina's going to be at their best when they're out running. And a lot of that's going to be, like I talked about in the preview, how the guards attack their guards. Can they be aggressive? Can they get a couple of steals? Can we generate points on the fast break, generating turnovers, which get 2-on-1, 3-on-2, runouts, and get those fast break points? That's when Carolina is dangerous. Hawaii was able to stay in the game for large portions of this thing, especially in the first half, if you will, because they were, on one hand, making buckets, which enabled them to go up and set up their defense, which it was the same kind of matchup zone that we saw against Elon. We've seen that a little against American. Teams are trying to, get back, and they're trying to make Carolina attack the zone. And to be completely honest, they haven't looked very good necessarily against that defense just yet. And I really believe that they're going to see a lot of that. They're really going to see a lot of it. So, HD, I'm sure, is going to be talking about a couple of things here. 1, you got to rebound the basketball, bro. Ball goes up, you got to find a body. Don't watch and don't be a reach it. Find a body, box out. Carolina cannot be out-rebounded like this consistently. It's just not good. And minus 13, that's a huge deficit. But fortunately, we were able to get, obviously, an 18-point victory. What kind of counterbalanced that was the steals and the points off turnovers, 17-5. And then the fast break points, Carolina had 19 to Hawaii's 1. And obviously, that's just the two teams playing different brands of basketball. But shout out to the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, man. They battled. They fought. And, they gave Carolina a good little run. Very interesting from Hawaii's perspective. We're talking about in the preview, Tanner Christensen. He was really good in the first half. I think he had like 8 or 9 rebounds going into halftime. He finished with only 10. So Carolina did do a better job of kind of doubling down on him when he got the ball in the paint. He only finished with 10 points, 4 of 7 shooting. And I think a lot of that had to do with, Carolina collapsed down on him. So Carolina collapsing down on Tanner made him have to kick it out. And a couple of guys, the Gaitis and the Mixka, I think that's how you pronounce his name, number 5, kind of got hot from 3. He ended up finishing 3 for 5 from 3 with 16 points. He was their leading scorer. And then Akira Jacobs, 34, also hit a couple of threes. He finished with 13 as their second leading scorer. They were only 8 for 23 from the three-point line, though, 34.8%. And I think Carolina did what they needed to do in this basketball game. It started with Tanner Christensen. He finished with a double-double, but he finished with 10 and 10, which are, it's above his rebounding average, but that's not even close to what he was averaging as far as his points per game. So you smothered him, didn't allow him to necessarily take over the basketball game, and it helped Carolina kind of get that lead out in the second half. Carolina's leading scorer was R.J. Davis, 34 minutes. He finished with 18 points on 6 for 14 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3, and 4 for 5 from the free throw line. And he also had 4 assists. And then Elliot Cadeau, who missed large portions of the first half because he got 2 early fouls, which you could see how that affected Carolina big time. He finished 7 for 8 from the floor, was extremely aggressive to the bucket, especially when he had one-on-one opportunities. And he finished with 17 points as Carolina's second leading scorer once again. So Elliott really is emerging as Carolina's legitimate, right now, second best scorer. I mean, and you cannot say enough about how much he has improved as a scorer from year 1 to year 2. I mean, he is a viable second option, and he may end up emerging into the leading scorer just because he is so hard for guys to stay in front of him. Obviously, we're waiting for RJ to get out of that shooting slump. So Elliott had a really good game. He only played 23 minutes because of that foul trouble, and he finished with 17 points. So pretty impressive game from EC. He did only have 4 assists, once again, because of that time that he played, to only 1 turnover, 4-to-1 turnover to assist ratio. That looks pretty daggum good. EC had a really good ball game, man. Ian Jackson, once again, 19 minutes of play, finished with 11 points. He was 6 for 6 from the free throw line, 1 for 1 from 3, and 2 for 5 from the floor. You would think that he's just going to continue to get more and more burn as the season goes, because when he's in, he seems to be a really good scoring threat himself. And it was good to see Kate Tyson get a little love at the end of the game too, man. He had 9 points, 3 for 5 from the field, a little bit more aggressive offensively. Once again, what's going to help him get on the floor more is how physical he can be defensively, how much he can not be a liability on the defensive end of the floor. So once again, number 10 North Carolina, 87-69. I'd say an 18-point win, traveling 4,800 miles out there. Undefeated Hawaii team, and being able to kind of put the clamps down on Tanner Christensen. I would say that's an effective basketball game, man. I think we should feel good about this, and we should feel good about going into the Maui Invitational with that date with Dayton at 11:30 in a couple of days, man. So once again, I really do, man. I appreciate everybody hanging out, bro, after midnight. I'm going to actually get off of here real quick because I got to be at work shortly and, get off a little bit earlier so that we can have the football live reaction and watch party as well, dude. And I got some family stuff going on at the end of the day. So this is going to be a daggone 24-hour bender for your stinking boy, man. But, of course, I'm not going to miss Carolina basketball. I just can't do it. How am I supposed to sleep when my boys are stinking playing, man? So, once again, shout out to the 30 diehards that were in there hanging out after midnight with your boy. Carolina gets the W, moves to 3-1, and we'll let them boys get some sleep too, man. And we got the Maui Invitational coming up. So do me a favor, let me know what you think about this basketball game down in the comment section. If you haven't already, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be here all daggum season for basketball. So if you're a Tar Heel or you're just a college basketball fan in general, you need to daggum subscribe to the Tar Heel Huddle if you're interested in Carolina athletics in any shape or form. So I love you guys. I appreciate everybody once again, and we'll catch you on the next one, Tar Heel Nation.